So how does Reese eat her soup?
What?
How does
Is it a Pleasentville joke?
How does
Is this a Pleasentville joke?
How does Reese eat her soup?
I don't know.
Witherspoon. Boom!
Nailed it.
Reese Witherspoon.
Oh!
I thought of that joke this morning. My name is Bradley Jones,
I'm Andrew Moldenhauer.
I'm Andy Hubert.
and this is not a movie review podcast. What a podcast where we try to recall the events of a film that we haven't seen in a very, very long time. This is what we remember about Pleasentville.
Were there 2 or 3 bad guys in Home Alone? And who was that forgetful fish in Finding Nemo? Join us as we're watching films. See what we remember and what memories we kill. Let's start the show. Here we go. This is what we remember. It starts in color.
It does start in color.
It does start in color, yes.
And then it turns not into color.
And then it goes to black and white.
yeah.
Then the credits happen.
They ran out of
And
money
that's-
and they
and
were
that's
like,
what we
switch to
remember.
black and white.
So we
Cast.
Reese Witherspoon, Tobey Maguire, William H. Macy.
William H. Macy.
Jeff
don't-
Daniels.
Jeff Daniels.
Jeff Daniels.
I thought it was Dave Coulier.
It's Jeff Daniels, I think.
I think Dave Coulier's in this film as the ice cream guy.
Okay.
I think it's Dave Coulier.
Let's write this down so we can
Listen,
come
though.
back to it and see if we rememred right.
They do look very
They look so
similar.
much
Yeah.
alike. I've repeatedly mixed them up.
In my brain, it's Dave Coulier.
Okay.
Because a cooler, he works as ice cream guy. That's how I associate. He's the ice cream
You had like a
Coulier.
mnemonic device
Yeah.
for remembering
I'm with
him in
Andy
this
on
movie.
this one. The Andy's.
Do you think it's Jeff
I
Daniels?
think it's Jeff Daniels. I think it's Jeff Daniels. Andy might change his opinion because he's
No,
a
I'm flip flopper. I'm sticking with Jeff Daniels, but maybe.
I don't know who the
Can I hedge
mom
your
is,
bets?
but I'm pretty sure she's famous.
Yeah, I can't remember
remember
her
at all.
name at all. I remember her
And
face.
the girlfriend is from Planet Terror. She's really cute.
Rose McGowan?
Nope, the blonde.
I say it's definitely not Rose McGowan. I don't know.
I forget her name. She was in a bunch of like
Yeah.
poppy films. But she's
in
very
Sin
pretty.
City.
Yep. Yep.
Oh god, I can't remember her name.
Pretty sure that's her. I think she's Tobey Maguire's cheerleader girlfriend.
Okay, who was the jock guy that Reese Witherspoon started hooking up with?
No idea.
Nobody.
Ryder Strong. I don't know.
So just you're playing Army Hammer?
Corey Matthews.
So also Don Knotts is in this movie.
I don't remember.
Oh yeah,
Don Knotts in this
okay.
at all.
So
But it makes sense.
they get a device that puts them into the world, and Don Knotts gets it to them, right?
Yep, it's a remote control.
Yeah.
It's a remote control that has a special ability. So I think at the beginning of the movie, Tobey Maguire is obsessed with TV throughout the entire movie, but he's obsessed with watching this old show that's like Leave It to Beaver.
I think
It's called Pleasantville. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So Don Knotts is fixing the TV because the reception's really bad, and then at some point he gives Tobey Maguire this special remote.
Like Click, but
It's sort of, it
Yeah.
kind of is.
Click.
Because, yeah, he gives him the remote, and then he fights, where Tobey Maguire fights with Reese Witherspoon over the remote at some point.
Yes.
And it's like,
And they break
it's like
it,
a Honey,
right?
I Shrunk the Kids, where they're like, "Rah, rah, rah," and then
As
it
soon as they
sucks
get
them
in-
into
And they get
this-
zapped
They
into
get
this
zapped into the
world.
TV.
and then it gets broken once they get in there, or something happens to it.
Yeah, I think it does get broken.
Well,
And-
that's bad news.
Yeah.
But before that happens, we get established that Reese Witherspoon is like a bad kid, and that she like
Yeah. I think it starts out at school at some point. She's like smoking,
Yeah.
cutting class.
She's a
or
rebel.
cutting
something.
class. She's wearing a black leather jacket, I think.
She looks real cool, I bet.
Yeah, she's probably got acid wash cut off jeans.
Probably.
But yeah, she's like one of the cool kids.
Yeah.
And Tobey Maguire's a nerd.
Do we ever see their parents?
Their actual parents?
Yeah.
Because when they go into Pleasantville, William H. Macy is like their dad.
They're surrogate. I'm wondering how that happens, if they just get taken in by them
I
or
don't
not.
I don't think we see their parents at all.
Okay.
I don't
Because their parents are totally irrelevant to the movie.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. I don't think that a parent is in this movie.
Of any parent at all?
No, not excluding the Pleasantville family.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Get to see how lame Tobey Maguire is before he gets sucked into the TV, or do we get to see anything? Does he do a thing at all? Does he?
These
have
like
no
aces
idea.
a math test.
He does really well.
I feel like we
He
probably
gets teased on by his sister.
or yeah, I was gonna say his backstory's probably established by Reese Witherspoon like yelling at him, being like,
You're such a lame.
"You're such a lame brother. Why does my brother have to be so lame and I'm so cool?"
Yeah. She
And,
like smokes a cigarette
She
that's the
puts a
coolest
cigarette out on
on
him.
him. Yeah. You're so lame.
Oh god.
Okay, so they get sucked into this world now.
Yes, and
The remote's broken.
The remote's broken, and how do they meet William H. Macy and the mom?
I think
What
they're
happens in the
already
first-
the children.
yes, they are.
They take somebody's.
They
Yeah,
were.
they take a character, two characters in Pleasantville. They take
They
over
become
their.
them.
They avatar
They're
into
ex-
them.
So they just
Yeah.
so they're in there
Good
and
call.
and William H. Macy's like, "Hey kids," like they're already his kids, and they're
Oh,
like,
I didn't know that. I didn't
Yeah.
remember that.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to act like those kids. Like Reese Witherspoon has to act like her character. Because I think Tobey Maguire's telling her
What to do?
You have to act this way, and you
okay.
have to go by this character's name.
Interesting.
Because he loves that show and he knows everything about it, so he's like trying to help
educate her
Keep-
how to
yeah.
fit in.
Yeah, fit her in, and no, does he have like an attachment to the show to where he doesn't want to disrupt things either? 'Cause it's like the
I
show he
think
likes?
so.
I don't know if there's any stakes like that where like he can't
Because
let
from
something
like
go out of
in a
sorts.
very broad sense, my recollection is that Reese Witherspoon gets in and is like, "This world's lame," and goes around like trying to make out with people, and they're like, "That's not what we do here."
Yeah.
And that's a big thing. But I don't remember I remember Tobey Maguire being obsessed with like art or something too at some point.
I don't remember that.
No?
No, I don't get that either.
But I think now that they're in this world, you get like a quick view of their landscape. Mm-hmm. So it's like a couple like residential streets and then a major road, and that's it.
Yeah, it's the quintessential small town from the 50s, Leave It to Beaver
Yeah,
style.
yeah,
So there's
there's
like
like
a main street.
A truck that goes around the block like every minute
Yeah,
on the
but this
minute.
is like Twilight Zone where you like
Oh,
can't
yeah,
leave
yes.
that
Oh,
area.
it,
You
like,
keep looping through
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
I think there's a scene in museum with Tobey Maguire where he's like looking at art
And
that
it's
comes-
black and white, and
and
he's
it turns
like,
into something
"Why do I
else.
want? Why do I care?"
Or it later turns into color,
Something like that.
Something like that
Yeah,
happens, but-
and like the typical things that happen in the world is the firefighters only come to
rescue cats.
And there's never been a fire.
Yep.
until
and then-
the scene where the mom masturbates and blows the tree up.
Yeah, that's
Which
just
is
like
an awesome
much
scene.
later. I
remember this
I
at
don't
all.
remember the blowing up tree, but I'm curious to hear about
I'm
it.
so excited to watch this movie
Oh,
already.
yeah.
This is
That's
great.
a hot scene. For
Yeah,
a
man.
little kid to watch.
There's other things that happen in that world, but I just don't remember what it is.
Though they go into the gym and like everyone's making their basketball shots.
Yes, I remember that.
Like
where the
everyone's
whole
getting
team
straight
never
A's
misses
on their
a shot.
chests.
They're all
They all
just
just sink in.
They're all perfect. Like
And
the
they-
whole town is perfect.
everything's supposed to be perfect. So like, and then it's quintessential. Like they have the milkman always comes around to deliver the milk in the morning, and
Yeah, there's never any like nothing ever goes wrong.
and there's like they hang out at the ice cream
Yeah,
parlor.
until like these kids show up. then
Yes,
stuff
and that's
starts
the
to go
idea
wrong.
is that the world is perfect, but it's also boring and the same.
Right. 'cause,
Yeah.
there's nothing different about it.
And now, when does the first color happen? Is that when
I think
Reese
Tobey
Witherspoon-
Maguire turns into color first.
No, he's like one of the last to turn into color.
Because Reese Witherspoon's the last person to turn into color.
I think it's the opposite. I thought she was one of the first to turn into color.
no, because she.
Are we
'cause
just
she,
talking about like people that turn into color?
Sure.
Because she.
Okay, because because there's so I think the first color that we see is a flower turning red,
Okay. Like,
and then it slowly spreads out from
caused
that.
it?
So I think what's causing it is Reese Witherspoon is deliberately trying to change things
Disrupt
up in
yeah,
this
she's
and
trying to
disrupt the
get
order.
people to
Okay.
open up.
So like I think the first scene where that kind of happens is they go to neck at like
Yeah.
this.
At Makeout Point or
At
whatever.
Makeout Point,
Where
yeah,
everyone's just sitting in the car. Like a guy asks her out on a date, and she's like, "Yeah, I'll do it."
Yeah.
And instead of like necking, like she full on like gives him a BJ or something.
No, they definitely bang in that car.
Yeah, there's
and then they turn.
Well, I think Reese Witherspoon bangs like a lot of dudes in this film.
Yeah.
and then everybody starts banging each other.
'Cause
And then
she's
everyone,
and that's how, like,
everyone starts
and that's how
putting
you
in
know
color.
they've banged is because they're in color.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
and this
bang-
guy's
the
like,
bangers and
"What
the-
is
and the
this?
bang
Like, I've
knots.
never
And-
never heard of this
Yeah.
before."
And everyone's like, "Oh gosh, what's wrong with you? You're in color. That's weird."
And I think he like kind of forces her to do it again at some point in like a creepy way.
Ooh, my.
Where he's like,
Oh,
I
he's
thought you
like
wanted
asking her. He's like, "Hey, can we do that
Can
thing
we do that thing?"
again?"
And she's like, "No, I don't really want to." And he's like, "Well, I want to do that thing."
Oh man.
Yeah.
So
Look what she's
And then
done
he's
with that.
telling his friends, and his friends are like, "Oh crap! I better see if my girlfriend can do this thing too."
So everyone starts doing
It's
the
called
thing.
the loop de loop. It's really
Yeah.
insane, guys. You should try
This
it.
is like a viral video.
So I thought Tobey Maguire would turn color like really soon, and that's
I
what
feel like
made
he's
him,
one of the last
stand
ones,
out.
and at the end he's really frustrated because he doesn't understand why he hasn't
That's
changed.
what Reese Witherspoon does.
Oh man.
Because she's the one banging everyone. She's like,
Okay.
everyone's
could
turning
see
color
that
but
too.
me.
Yeah, that would make sense to me. That she's like,
Yeah.
she's like, how come it does? Like, I'm the one that's causing everyone to
Yeah,
turn
why
into
not
color,
me?
but
And
why haven't I
not
changed?
me?
I was gonna jump back, and now I had lost my train of thought. But so you do also get the mom slowly divulging into this lifestyle as well when
She's starting to
masturbates.
realize that there's
Yeah.
things missing from her life. That
She's not happy with her marriage. to
Yeah.
William
She's not
H.
happy
Macy.
with being like a homemaker either.
You're right.
Well, because it's very much like you're my wife, you belong in the kitchen making the meals, and
And then she also has feelings for Jeff Daniels / Dave Coulier.
there's
There's a relationship there that
I don't
builds,
remember that, but
where they have like a flirtation, and
Okay.
okay.
then
Oh, because so Tobey Maguire ends up starting to work for this like ice cream parlor,
Yeah.
and I think that the mom like has an interaction with him one time.
yeah,
and
they
she's,
have like a
going
little
to-
flirtation.
Yeah,
That's what
I think she's
starts
like
it.
going to pick him up or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Also, there's the scene where, and I don't know where this happens, but there's the scene where Jeff Daniels
/ Dave Coulier.
slash Dave Coulier.
Jeff Coulier or
I'll say okay, Jeff Coulier.
Dave Daniels is nice and alliterative.
It's Dave Daniels.
Dave Daniels or Jeff Coulier.
Dave Daniels is easier to say.
Okay.
The double D.
Yeah. So Dave Daniels, he's waiting up for Tobey Maguire to come to his shift, and Tobey like ends up missing it, and so Jeff Daniels just keeps
Dave Daniels
just keeps wiping the table.
Oh yeah, because no one ever comes in or nothing ever gets dirty.
Yeah, because
or
he was waiting, and he's like, I just kept waiting and just kept doing my thing, and so he's just
he didn't understand why he
Yeah.
was doing that.
He doesn't
one
know what
thing
to
over
do.
and over
and
again.
that the table just has like the motion that he's been making, like
Oh, grinded
into it. Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone's just going through the motion in this film.
Yeah.
They need to
And
get shaken up.
And I remember after like the color thing, like when the town starts.
to get segregated.
Something like
and I
they-
think there's like an evil mayor that like in like William H. Macy is definitely against
Oh
everyone
yeah,
turning
William H.
color.
Macy is one of those like we need to keep everything the same. Like I don't
He's
like
very
that things are
conservative.
changing.
Yeah, I do think there's like an evil town mayor or group of people.
There's definitely a mirror shot of the
Revolt.
earlier shot of the basketball team where they all missed their baskets, and that's like everyone's like the town's falling apart.
Oh yeah, the
Oh,
missing of the basket. Yeah.
They're trying to figure out to set
And
it
it's
back
because the
way
whole
it was.
basketball team got laid, and now they realize that making baskets just doesn't mean what they thought it meant.
This movie is kind of political too. It's like
There's a lot of different
Oh,
things.
yeah.
It's
going on
about
in this
conservative
film.
society being interrupted by like a more transgressive society.
Yeah, and at the same time that like the other society it has more expression, but also brings in like problems as well.
Also,
so.
the racism between the people that are colored and are not colored, and like their relations to get along.
I don't remember that,
I
but
don't-
I'd be
I don't remember
curious.
that at all,
I'm
but-
sure that's in there.
Yeah, I haven't seen this.
I
since
think there's a bunch of
so-
school bullies that are in black and white that like tease a bunch of the colored, like people who have turned into
Oh.
color.
Okay.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, I think
definitely
I'm pretty
wanna
sure
see that.
happens into
That's-
it.
Is there a black person in this movie at all?
Yes, I do believe so. Quite a few.
Okay.
Quite a few of the kids are black.
Okay.
Okay.
Good. I'm glad.
You're
so relieved.
Just none of the main characters are. It's still a Hollywood film.
Yeah. Well.
Okay. We kind of skipped over a sequence of events that were happening in the movie too, where Don Knotts is in the TV, and Tobey Maguire is able to communicate him through one specific channel.
So he's in the TV while they're in Pleasantville.
Yes. So it's like through the TV is the real world.
Oh,
They're
okay.
in the TV, but in his world, he's seeing into
Yes.
his TV to see. Don Knotts is explaining how to. I think he's
How to
explaining
fix
like
the
how to
remote,
fix
maybe?
the remote, because at first Reese Witherspoon really wants Tobey Maguire to fix the remote.
Yeah, because she's like, I hate it here. I can't be a rebel.
But then she starts to really like it, and I think Tobey Maguire wants to fix the remote because things are really changing too quickly.
He thinks they need to, go back to normal.
Yeah, it's not the show he loved. It's he's like, you're ruining my show.
Everybody's changing. You're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Look at all the problems you're causing, too. Because, you do get the hatred of people who have changed to color versus those still in black and white. And it's causing...
And then, like, the children themselves, like, they are a representation of that as well. If that were to be true, then she's the color and the changing society, and he's, like, the conservative type person.
So now I'm really curious to know if she is the last person to change. If you're right,
I'm pretty sure she is.
Brad, you are never right. So I don't think
because everyone in the town goes through some sort of revelation where they realize that they were being bad people, and everyone ends up in color.
Okay.
Yeah, slowly everyone changes because they realize
everything
something,
in the world changes,
or something changes for them, and they turn into color. And like I remember, there's two things I remember. There's one where someone's looking at like a book, and the book starts filling itself up because it was originally just blank. Like it starts writing itself, or the guy is like having thoughts and it's creating this book. Or something like that. I remember that happening.
I think William H. Macy maybe like forgives his wife, and then he turns into color, or something happens, or he turns into color, or he didn't like really.
I don't know, but he's like the perfect actor for that role.
Every role ever he's in, he's so good.
He is a really good actor.
But he like fits that so well, that kind of like classic 1950s TV show dad.
Yeah, I could see that.
So also, can you explain a little bit about this fire thing you were talking about?
The mom confides in Reese Witherspoon that she's been having sort of these feelings, and Reese Witherspoon with her spoon describes how to masturbate to the mom. She's like setting the candles, so there's a moment where like the dad's out of town. It's getting a little steamy in here. The dad goes out of town. The mom like
you're the only one wearing glasses and they're steaming out.
The mom sets the mood, and she's in the bathtub, and then she like starts to feel around down there, and something happens.
It's really graphic,
and it's pretty. I mean, it lingers, and she has an orgasm. And then outside of the window, a tree explodes into fire, and the firemen come to put it out, and they just don't know what to do because they've never seen a fire before.
That's right. They have no clue what they're supposed to do.
Everyone's just standing around watching the tree burn down.
Tobey Maguire sees that it's burning, and he goes to the fire department, and he's like, "Hey, there's a fire," and they just kind of stare at him. And they're like, "Huh?
A cat?"
And then he says, "Yeah." And then he's like, "A cat's in the tree," and then they're like, "Oh no!" And they scramble into action.
Oh man.
But I remember when I watched this as a kid, that like masturbating scene really made me uncomfortable.
I enjoyed it, and I will enjoy it again.
When I was I think I remember watching this movie with my grandparents.
That would change things. That would change a lot of things.
That would definitely
raise a lot of questions.
I think the first time I saw it, my grandpa was like, "Oh, let's check out this movie," and he put it in, and that scene came up, and I just remember going like, I have weird feelings about this. Like, I mean, it's kind of nice. It's also maybe a little too long, and then
maybe you don't know what's going on too. It's like, what is she doing?
Yeah.
What is she doing, Grandma?
I was like,
she's just taking a bath, son.
Like 9 or 10 or something like that.
I can see that being a little weird.
It's uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's a scene that pops up like it's the one movie like your parents walk in your room and that's the scene that's always on.
Of course,
it's like that one part of the film. It's like, oh, come on.
So,
how do they get out of the
I was
thing?
going to ask the same question.
I'm assuming they finished the remote.
I think everyone's in color and they fix the remote and they just end up leaving.
But how do they, like, why would they decide to leave?
I don't know.
Because they don't want to be stuck in Tiny Town.
And does anyone come with them? I don't know why I did a Donald Duck thing there. But with them.
I think that...
Does Tobey Maguire's cheerleader girlfriend come? Or, like, Reese Witherspoon's boyfriend?
No, I never feel like Tobey Maguire is like really attached to his girlfriend, and I think like he kind of understands the point of like wanting to be back in normal society because there's just like this is so like unusual. But then Reese Witherspoon, I'm kind of at a loss for like why she would want to go back.
I think she just she comes to some sort of understanding that maybe she's being too disruptive,
too wild.
Yeah, too wild, and that she does need to be a little more conservative.
Okay.
It's like they, meet in the middle somewhere between too conservative and too wild, where Tobey Maguire.
A moderate.
They moderate.
The truth is in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So political.
It's a very political film.
Okay.
And
And then they go back.
yeah, and then are they talk about it maybe for a second, or or is the TV show in color from then on in?
They go back,
Ooh.
they go, yeah, and then high five freeze frame for the end, and that's it.
I feel like they go back to school or something happens.
Yes, and then they're like different people, and it solves like a problem that was introduced right in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
never really.
I don't
Can't
know.
remember at all.
I honestly can't remember how it wraps up.
I don't remember.
I
at
feel
all.
like they're probably more of like a team, like brother and sister, instead of like against each other.
Yeah, that's what it all kind of boils
I definitely
down
remember
to.
them like really not liking each other at the beginning.
Yeah,
so
they're at odds
maybe
the whole
now
time
they're like
until the
much
end.
more attached to each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't remember much of this film at all. I'm really excited to go back and watch it because it's been a long time.
Yeah, the reason I brought it up because I kept seeing it on Netflix, and I was like, we
Yeah.
got to do this film because I want to watch it.
Yeah, and I was actually about to like watch it, and then when you mentioned that we
Mhm.
should do it for this, and I was like, oh, I'm glad you said something because I definitely would have watched it.
That's
'cause
gonna happen with a couple
I
films.
saw it came up on Netflix, and I was like, oh man, I haven't seen this in forever. I should watch this.
I'm gonna have to call you people before I like see what movie I want to watch today. It's like, oh, have
Right.
you guys seen Turner and Hooch? Can I watch that or
We
no?
should totally do Turner and Hooch. I love that movie.
All right, so you want to?
No, I was gonna say any final like scenes that you guys can think of.
Dave Daniels
Dave
That'll be the big
and the
one.
mom definitely get together.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, they end up together.
Okay.
William
What
H. Macy's
happens
out of the
with-
picture.
What?
Yep.
Killed by a bus.
Yeah.
I don't think that happens.
Okay.
And yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of things.
The real
we're
question
missing.
is, does the basketball team start making baskets again? I think that's
I think they do.
what's really important.
That's really important.
That's
and then
the
Hoosiers
resolution.
is the sequel to this film.
yeah, that makes sense to me.
If this movie was Independence Day, the basketball team would win, come back and win, and you would get every player's backstory. basically.
You'd get every player's backstory. Yes, you really would, and you'd feel really bad for like the towel boy that's deathly ill for some reason.
All of their friends would be dead.
yes, yeah, that's right.
Such a tangent.
A lot of flashes to
many
white
backstories.
and scary noises.
All right. Let's go watch this film. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Sounds good. So join us in part 2. We're gonna see what we got right, see what we got wrong. We don't have ads on this episode, but if we did, it'd go here. But we don't, so enjoy the show.
I baked you some of my oatmeal cookies.
Oh, no, you baked those for Whitey.
No, I baked them for you.
No, you baked them for Whitey.
No, I baked them for you.
No, you baked them
No,
for...
I baked them for you.
Thank you.
All right, so we watched Pleasantville,
And it was pleasant.
and it did not have Dave Coulier in it, unfortunately.
That's right. The Andes were right.
It was Jeff Daniels the whole time, but he looks a lot like Dave Coulier.
Of course he does.
There's a chance that he might be related to Jeff Daniels.
No, probably not.
Oh, okay. I mean, it was...
Are they both from Canada?
Wait,
I don't
has
know.
anyone ever seen them in the same room at the same time?
I don't think so.
Because they might be.
I
It might
think
be like
people
a
have talked
Superman
about
Clark
that.
Kent
Did
thing.
Jeff Daniels ever guest star in an episode of Full House?
I was
That's
going
a
to
good
ask
question.
that
That's a good question.
I was going to ask it.
Because that's something that IMDb needs to tell us. So there is a mom in the movie.
There is a parent.
There's
yes.
a parent.
Yes,
a parental
and it's the mom from Malcolm in the Middle.
unit. Mhm.
Yep.
Mom come in the middle.
Classic.
Mom's come in the middle.
Oh boy. Yeah, and we do see both the kids like go to school for a day and like experience essentially what their problems are in the real world.
And one of Tobey Maguire's friends is the kid from Independence Day, the sick kid.
Yes, the sick kid from
Yeah.
Independence Day.
I mean, you don't really get their problems per se. It's just like they both just want to watch TV after school.
Well, you get the problem like that Tobey Maguire is like too scared to talk to the one girl, so he's like pretending to have a conversation with her across a plaza.
Yeah.
And
which is really sad.
Reese's character is like, yeah, the super bad girl, like smoking behind the school.
No leather jacket though.
Yeah.
That's
No
true.
leather jacket
That's
on.
true. No leather jacket.
I kind of like the scene where she was just like, yeah, just talk to him. He was like, cool. And I was like, cool.
I actually really like that stuff. It seemed
We were like,
very.
cool.
And she was gonna have a date where the guy would just come over and they'd watch a concert on MTV.
A concert on MTV. Nice
Yeah.
date this
I didn't
movie.
know if that, I guess that's a thing.
That seems like it's something I would do on a date today. Except for girl last week
Yeah,
and watch a
well,
If
concert.
MTV played concerts,
Sure.
live concerts.
You have to go to like the MTV College one to even see any music videos.
Yeah. So the conflict becomes where wants to have this date to watch the concert, and Tobey Maguire wants to watch a marathon of the Pleasantville TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they break that remote. That remote gets broken.
Yeah, they're normal remote.
But
They break that remote, and then literally a second later, Don Knotts shows up, and he's a TV
with his,
repairman.
with his generic TV repairman jumpsuit.
Mm-hmm.
Is he like a spirit or something, or a...
I don't know. I think that's left up to your interpretation if he's the devil or an angel or...
Yeah.
Oh man,
Spirit.
if he's the devil, it really changes this film.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got to be
I think
something.
he
He's
is.
not just human, because he was like aware of what had happened.
What if he's
in
a
that
wizard?
house.
Right. He knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
And he knew how to get them back out. So he didn't want them when they first get into Pleasantville, Don Knotts throws a big fit about making them stay there.
Yeah, to teach them a lesson.
Right. So it's his
Of
plan
how
the
to
whole
be
time
nice.
to do
and
this.
that he finds that Tobey Maguire is like a true fan of the show, so he will appreciate being there.
He passed Don Knotts' test. Or
Which is just
whatever.
4 questions off random episodes
Yeah.
of the Pleasantville television.
I feel like they weren't that. I mean, I guess he was trying to trip him up with that one about like the hardware store or whatever, but
I don't really understand Don Knotts' motive. Did you guys really get that?
He just wants to make them better people, I guess.
By liking a TV show, or by being in a TV show?
Well, for sure, Reese Witherspoon has like the biggest character change.
yeah,
Tobey Maguire doesn't seem like he didn't really do anything.
he seems like I
He
feel
kind
like
of more like stood up for himself.
yeah. His
and
change, I
became
think,
a-
is that he becomes
Yes.
more confident and like becomes kind of his own person versus being like meek and like, oh, I'm not.
Well,
actually
Right,
doing
I think he
anything.
did have a change because he was kind of saying like it's okay to be different, or it's okay to be in color, or
Yeah.
whatever.
And he's the one that wanted to be there in the first place because it was so much better. He felt it was so much better than where he lives now.
Yeah,
Like, because they have the montage at school where it's like all doom and gloom in every one of his classes, and he feels like he doesn't fit in, and he's like, oh man, Pleasantville's perfect. I'd much rather be there. And then he realizes, oh, my world's not so bad.
I buy that because the motivation of what changes you into color is you overcoming something.
It's
So
like-
he punches the bully. He doesn't turn into color until he stands up to Joan Allen. A bunch of bullies are harassing Joan Allen and saying like nasty
Yeah.
stuff to her.
Yeah, it was like on
they're
the
about
verge of
to
like sexual assault. Yeah.
Not only her, but also
The
Toby's girlfriend.
Yeah, like she comes with like a ripped shirt and stuff,
Yeah.
like running away from more of the bullies.
Yeah, I thought it was Reese Witherspoon, but it was them two. And Tobey Maguire punches the lead bully in the face. His name is Whitey.
His name was Whitey.
And
man.
that's when he first turns new into color.
Yeah, well, I think
So.
like people turn into, I don't know exactly, because people are kind of turning into color at random times. I think there was some type of emotion.
The point was,
attached
yeah,
to
they
it.
had to feel something.
They had to feel something
some sort of
other than what they had
emotion or-
typically felt
Yes,
throughout the series.
something new, but
That's
Yeah.
why when Reese Witherspoon was banging a bunch of dudes, she didn't change until she started reading
Oh.
books.
yes.
Because she didn't feel anything.
Well-
she didn't.
She's dead inside. No, because she'd already experienced. That's part of her
Yeah.
already.
That's
That
something
makes
she
so much more
overcame.
sense now
Yes.
that you said that.
So she reads a book for the first time, and that changes her. That she has
She also
this
starts
new
dressing
experience.
like the Mary Sue character. She puts
Yeah.
on the glasses and the cardigan and
Yeah.
really embraces that character.
Yeah, and like even William H. Macy, who misses his wife, is finally acknowledging like he misses her and just like loves her, and she's more than just kind of like a part of his home.
Yeah, cool. Because he was part of the very men were men kind of thing, where it's like he comes home and he's the head of the house, and he needs his wife to handle the house stuff, and like the front he put up was that, oh, without my wife, who will do these things? But really, like Tobey Maguire's speech to him was like, but you love her for being her in addition to the things she does.
Yeah.
And so he realizes he's willing to express that, which is like forbidden amongst all those guys who are like, oh, that's ridiculous. We're mainly men.
There's lots of great subtle things that happen in that sequence when William H. Macy comes home. The door to the gate is open, like,
Yes.
and it's like, oh, this is odd.
There's picket fence.
And then
Yeah.
he goes inside the house and like puts his coat down and says, "Hi, honey, I'm home." And then he gets no response.
Yeah, no one says anything.
And he's like, and he goes trying to find out where his dinner is. And his next 5 lines are just "Where's my dinner?" in different locations inside of the house.
That was
He opens
really
up
good.
the oven looking for it. It's like,
Yep.
where's that dinner hiding?
But it's perfect though because this is what he's expecting, and it's how it is every single.
Yeah, I mean,
episode.
it's,
He comes
it's his
home from
version
work.
of what happens to Jeff Daniels in the beginning when, Tobey Maguire's late for his shift. So he's like, you always open the blinds and sweep the floors. I didn't know what to do, so I just kept scrubbing, and he it scrubbed a hole in the counter almost. And so that was kind of his moment of that, where he realizes like, oh, it doesn't have to be that way.
Right.
So
I didn't realize that Tobey Maguire got the key to the city. That was a fun thing.
Yeah.
After he
After the fire.
put the fire out.
Yep.
And that was kind of the really changing moment in the film where people were really curious about how did he know how to put the fire out?
Yeah, because he
And-
comes back to his shift at the ice cream
They really
parlor.
kicked the movie into high gear, I think.
And everyone's like, how did you know that? But also, like, these books now have words, like, what do they say in that? And he kind of...
he becomes like kind of
Like
the sage
he's-
for the town, where he's
Exactly.
explaining everything, like the rain when the thunderstorm happens.
Yeah,
and
they
they've
never
had rain
experienced
before,
lightning or anything.
and everyone's like terrified. He's like, it's just rain, guys.
Yeah, he's, like, fearful at that point.
so
Because he's experiencing something that he already knows.
yes. So he's helping everyone else and like cope with it in a way.
Yeah.
And some people are receptive and some are not. Like, and we'd mentioned that in the conflict between like what they call the coloreds and the non-coloreds in the film, or like the people who don't want things to change, like the mayor, the evil mayor, which you had called out.
Yeah. He's always in a Dutch angle, too. He's the Dutch angle mayor.
Yeah, that's
If you
true.
see any scene, it's a single of him.
There's so
on
many
a Dutch
goofy
angle.
Dutch angles, though. Like, I appreciated some of them, but there were scenes where there was, like, a crowd of people in a Dutch angle, and I was like, it looks like they got, like, the B camera crew to get out and, like, shoot this. There was, like, maybe 8 people in the shot, and they were, like, shifting people around.
Maybe their camera rig was just broken, and they were like, well, leave it.
And the mom actually wears makeup to hide the fact that she is turning color because she's so embarrassed
Yeah.
by
That
it.
was, like, right at the midpoint, too.
Yeah.
Right at the middle of the movie.
And because then she has the point later where Willie Macy's like, don't worry about it. You can just put on makeup and hide the color stuff. She's like, I don't want to. Like, I enjoy being like this now. And so that's when he has his real moment where he's like, oh my gosh, like, what is happening?
Yeah.
And she just effectively leaves him for Jeff Daniels.
But I wasn't sure if she really did leave him for Jeff
Because she
Daniels.
prepared a bunch of meals for him. She had tried to do her best to set stuff out.
Yeah, she was leaving him, which,
In this world, divorce doesn't exist. So she just did what her version of that would be.
She made him some meals, and then, like, that's why she shows up with, like, the suitcase at the diner. And then, but then later, like, he has his moment where he realizes how much he misses her for her. And then they're, like, sitting on that park bench and laughing, and then he turns into Jeff Daniels, and I had a lot of questions.
Let's talk about the ending at the end, but there are a lot of questions about the ending of this film.
Yeah. I think all of my questions just are for the end.
What is this
This
ending?
needed, like, 10 more minutes of film, I feel like, to really wrap it up.
Jeff Daniels gets an art book. There's a scene where Tobey Maguire, I guess Jeff Daniels is obsessed with art. It's where you thought Tobey Maguire was the...
Yeah, I thought he
obsessed.
was the one obsessed with art, but he just brings the art book to
Jeff Daniels. And I actually got goosebumps during that scene when they're just doing a bunch of transitional fades between the art and them flipping pages. And
Not a cry, though.
I didn't have a cry.
Okay.
But I also had a funny idea, which maybe we'll try to pursue, of inserting different pictures into the ones Jeff Daniels is looking at. Because he's looking at them really passionately and lovingly. If I just put a picture of, hang in there, cat. Or something in there.
I mean, he's experiencing it for the first time. It's probably
all
very powerful.
motivational posters.
Yeah, oh my god.
I don't think it matters what art would have been in that book. He would have had the same response.
So he discovers his passion for painting.
And he's really good at it. I mean, the paintings he does
But
are
then he
incredible.
goes off the deep end and paints a nude woman
Ooh,
on
he
his
paints a
window.
He paints a nude.
Yeah.
And I'm like, guy, that's not okay.
I mean, he was at,
But it is A-okay.
he jumped to 100
Joan
in that
Allen.
society. He jumped to 100. He was like,
he did
I'm
go
doing
0 to
this.
100. I do like later though, after they do the mural, and he's in his defense, he's like, I mean, maybe you could pick the colors. Maybe if someone will just tell me what's not offensive, that's fine.
He tries to
Like he just
backpedal
doesn't.
at the end.
Well, he just doesn't have a gauge of what's appropriate and what isn't when it comes to that. It's like that's,
Yeah,
think
I
that's
feel like
cool.
All
Jeff
beautiful,
Daniels'
Dan.
character wants to do a ton of things, but he's so afraid of
Yes.
being judged or being criticized.
being different. Yeah, exactly.
Which a lot of people are like that, but I almost felt like
Jeff Daniels' character is even more vulnerable than some of the other
he almost
people.
seemed much more
artist.
much more handicapped by the fact that he wanted to do these things but was so afraid of it.
Yeah.
Which like you see at the end when he's like pleading like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, like I can change all this. That's not a problem. Like he's so
the mayor
terrified
tries to handicap the whole town. He comes with like a list of 10 rules that the citizens have
for
to
dating
obey.
his teenage daughter.
Yeah, and I was almost like, are these gonna be like the Jim Crow, like,
Right.
like I thought they were gonna say like, and we're gonna have different drinking fountains, and I was like, I was almost like prepared for that to happen, but I felt like it would have been
Separate them
too
into
much.
one side of town, and
Yeah,
We did in the first half mention that we thought there were black actors in the film, and there are not. There's not a
zero.
single one.
yeah. There's no one else of any other race
and that had
other
to
than white.
come up in the production. There had to be they thought that through and said no black actors for whatever reason.
I mean, I think it kind of makes sense in the context of it's supposed to be like a 50s television show.
yeah, but it's also supposed to be that we are, as white people, being I don't even know how to say what I want to say, but just racist against each other, regardless of what color we are. Like,
I don't know though. I feel like they're probably just like, we're not gonna have.
let's not
Black
worry
people.
about that. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
there is like no coloreds. Like they say those words.
They
put them
do
up in
say the words,
signs
yeah,
and-
like
The colored.
Yep.
So I mean, it's not like it's hinted at. It's very blatant what the message of the movie was trying to get through.
Yeah, which I think we pretty much got in part one.
Yeah.
We did not remember that it was a young Paul Walker who played the jock that Reese Witherspoon dates. And oh my gosh, I couldn't. When he came on the screen, I was so I was like, wait a minute.
His voice was deeper than it's ever been. In the, like,
I couldn't
for some
believe that was
reason.
Paul Walker. I was like, oh my gosh, and he's acting.
He can actually not drive a car and drift it. He can just drive it in a straight line. What's happening?
That might have been more of a limitation of all those old cars. They hadn't invented that yet. So
Are you saying Paul Walker couldn't drift a 50s
Okay, if
Cadillac?
anyone could drift the 50s Cadillac.
It's Vin Diesel. But if there's two people,
There's
it's
one other
Paul
person.
Walker.
Do you think that out of top billed roles that he's played, 50% of the movies are Fast and Furious?
Oh, I'm sure they are.
Yes.
I bet if we looked him up, that'd be his top build or his most well-known
Snow Dogs?
for.
Wasn't he in Snow Dogs? Wasn't that another? No, Eight Below.
He was.
Eight Below was like a film that he was.
Was he in a
known
movie
for.
called like Running Scared or something like that?
I mean, that is a movie.
I don't
He
know
might
if
have been in it.
he's in that or if it's Chris Evans.
No, he's in a movie.
Running Scared's
I think,
pretty sweet.
I think he's in a movie called Running Scared.
Yeah,
as
that's
well.
a good movie.
Yeah. Not a whole lot of stuff outside. Hey, it paid enough bills that you didn't need
You
to.
follow the money.
Yeah.
The Adam and Eve scene was a little forced and weird, but I thought it was okay when Marley Shelton and Tobey Maguire go on that date.
Yeah.
She like plucks an apple from a tree.
Is
Gives
it
it to him.
Mary Sheldon or
Marley Shelton?
Marley? Okay,
Marley,
that's
okay.
the person that
Yeah,
we couldn't
remember
name.
From Marley and Me?
We couldn't remember Joan Allen, and we couldn't remember Marley Shelton.
Yeah.
Marley Shelton really wanted to give Tobey Maguire those cookies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, those are Whitey's cookies. But
Now, do you mean that in the
They're for you.
figurative sense or literally for the character Whitey?
She was gorgeous in
Oh,
this movie
Yeah,
too.
so good.
And
Maggie Lawson was the girl in the red sweater.
Yes.
The girl from Psych came up
Yep.
in the credits.
And I looked up when I went through the IMDb later after we did the first half. When I saw her, I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
I was looking for her, and I didn't even recognize it
Yeah,
until
she
afterwards.
blows the bubble by the lockers, and then she's also the girl in the red sweater, and so she's just.
can we jump to
Super
the end?
tease. Let me.
There's
just-
Let's see. Let's go through Brad's list of
Okay,
things to talk
all right.
about.
something in this movie, a hot girl becomes a nerd, which I thought was pretty neat. It's like a reverse.
It is kind
She's
of a
all
little
that.
bit reversed because
Reese Witherspoon?
Yeah. turns
I
into a
mean,
nerdy
usually the
girl.
stereotype is, oh, I'm the quiet girl in the back, but then I took off my glasses and let my hair down, and suddenly you noticed me. Like that's like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the lesson from Grease is if you like dress very scantily in leather pants at the end, then the cool guy likes you.
The scene in the bowling alley was really fun, and especially like when that guy reveals his hidden secret that his wife
Yes.
accidentally burned
His shirt.
His shirt has an ironing burn in it.
Yeah,
I thought
and
that was
everyone's
really
like,
funny.
oh, like it was such a shameful thing. That was
Oh,
really
no.
funny. All these dudes.
She just lost track of her mind.
She said she was just thinking.
What's next?
Reading gets outlawed in one of the 10 Commandments or whatever that gets passed down, but there's already been a book burning
Yeah, they had a
scene.
whole book burning.
So I'm thinking, well, you would not even want to go to the library anyway. There's no books in there.
Yeah, there's probably nothing left.
What's the big deal?
They ransacked the diner. And just
Yeah, that was...
that.
Yeah, they threw a park bench through his window.
Yeah, that was one of the scenes where it was like 8 people in a Dutch angle. And I was like, this looks weird.
Like, you can't have too many people.
It wasn't
for a
really
riot.
the town rioting. It was just a couple
I
people
mean-
who were misfits.
Okay, we'll get into the ending, but I want to start with
Sure.
this. Reese Witherspoon stays in Pleasantville.
Yeah, this is also something.
Well, sort of. She sort of stays. She stays.
She's in there.
in the show Pleasantville, but she leaves for college in Pleasantville.
Right.
From Pleasantville.
So I think what happens is, like, Tobey Maguire, after the courtroom scene where he turns everyone colored, he sees a television and has like a picture of the Eiffel Tower and a picture of Hawaii. So I'm guessing they made the world exist?
Yeah,
After
because
that
I
point?
wrote this down. He goes to it's a TV repair shop, and there's a sign that you can barely make out,
Yep.
and it says, "What a difference color can make."
Yes, like an
And
ad
I
for
wrote
color
that down
TVs.
because I was like, does that just mean like the world just like turned on and everything's in color and everyone knows?
Yeah, how quick
color
did that guy make
exists?
that sign? Because color wasn't
I
as
know.
popular.
I wrote
Did
down.
you write that instantly?
I wrote down well timed.
Honestly, that guy was so on the ball. He ordered the brand new color TVs like the week before and was like, "Yeah,
It's gonna happen.
That guy made a killing.
I did like that. You know, the whole world's in black and white, but when things turn to color, they know what those colors are. And at like the town meeting later, the one lady's like, "Earl has a blue front door," and he's like, "It's always been blue."
I know.
And I really liked that line, especially. I really liked because they're like, it's always been these colors, but they didn't see
You just
the
didn't
colors
see it until now.
And I was like, that's just a cool idea that they see the color versus, but it's always been that color.
Yeah.
So Reese Witherspoon goes to college.
She goes to
and
college
then-
in Pleasantville World.
Right.
Yes.
But I was like, why
What?
couldn't she just go to college in regular
Because her
world?
grades sucked, man. You
Yeah.
tried to apply to college. I
She
mean,
didn't
she
like
probably
that
could have
world
gone to
anymore.
like DeVry or something.
How does money work in Pleasantville? How is can you go to college for free?
Well, college is paid for by the advertisements through the TV channel.
Yeah, it's all that. Got that ad.
Because I was
Ad money.
thinking about that a few times. Because when Jeff Daniels gets his ice cream parlor smashed in, I was like, oh, I wonder if he has insurance. Does that exist?
I was gonna say like they would have never needed insurance in Pleasantville.
True. There's a lot of things. This world
Yeah, it
is
turns out
kind of
afterwards,
screwed up.
like Jeff Daniels goes like broke because he can't afford to fix his diner. Like, oops.
See, I had a kind of different perspective. When Tobey Maguire goes back to regular world, Reese Witherspoon isn't there, but the mom doesn't say anything. I was like, how do they explain that she's not there
Yeah,
anymore?
like the next couple days when she's like, I did have a daughter at one point.
I went out of my way to listen to the director's commentary during the ending just to try to figure it out more.
Okay.
And he says that one day in real life equals 1 year in Pleasantville. So she could finish college in 4 days.
I was wondering about that too.
Oh.
How much time had elapsed?
So 30 minutes.
Well, not a lot because he had just finished the marathon when he came back.
And I was in my head, I wasn't even thinking about that. There's like a standard rate of progression. Like I was like, it's either 1-to-1 or time freezes. But then when he goes back, his mom had already gotten home. So I'm like, at least some time progressed.
It's 30 minutes to every 7 days. The director justifies that by saying you'd have to wait a week to watch another episode.
that
show.
makes sense.
That's kind of a cool idea. I like
what he
that.
said.
Yeah.
And we couldn't figure out how this movie ended because they couldn't really even figure out how this movie ended. Things just sort of happened and then...
Oh man, there's
Is that what the
weird scene at
director
end.
said?
Oh, we said that.
Oh, okay. But like, did the director explain that last shot?
It's
No,
extremely
not
confusing.
confusing.
Oh, no!
It's so confusing because it's just like William H. Macy and the wife are sitting on the bench and they're like, I don't know what's gonna happen, and they realize that that's okay now and start laughing, and then it pans away and pans back, and now he's Jeff Daniels and she's still laughing. And I'm like, are they just a three-way couple
Or
now?
did they
Like,
merge into one person? Is
Yeah.
he now
I'm like,
Jeff
this is-
Macy?
Yeah, I'm like, he just expressed how much he missed her and loved her. Like, is she gonna stay with Jeff Daniels now? Because it's kind of a dick move.
So the director did say that he did not want it to be just a dream. And he didn't want everything that we saw in the movie to be for nothing.
Yeah, just go
Sure.
back.
So he didn't want the Wizard of Oz ending. So
Okay.
that's why he did that ending. He just chose to do it that way to make sure like the world of Pleasantville still went on.
I think even with having Reese Witherspoon still live in that world, it doesn't really. It's not really that dream world.
Until they agree on that, and then Tobey Maguire goes back, and the show resets. He's like, "Oh God, my sister's dead." The show just reset, and now she's gone forever.
The other thing is he now has the opportunity to keep going back there.
Yes,
with the remote.
Well, that's what they imply because he's like, "I'll come back and visit."
Yeah.
So yeah.
So he could check in on his sister and
Just hang out and.
Yeah, I just don't understand the last shot.
It's so confusing.
Yeah, it's just Willie.
It was really weird. I was really liking the movie, and that was the only thing I was like, "What?" And
What?
I didn't care for. It was everything else in this movie I really enjoyed.
Yeah, they could have just had just William H. Macy or just Jeff Daniels.
Yes.
They didn't need both, and
Yes,
also
that's
one
yeah.
replacing the other.
Yep.
On the bench.
That was what upset me, and I was like, okay, it should have been one or the other.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about that scene.
I also I was thinking about it. They replaced 2 other people. Are those people in limbo?
Yeah, they're gone.
So you would think that Bud would come back after Tobey Maguire left,
Yeah.
Right.
Which he doesn't, but maybe we just never see it, and he did.
So what happened to those 2 people? What do you think?
They're dead. They're dead. Just
Yeah.
she would the sister would have been if it had reset.
I think it's a quantum leap scenario where they're just possessing their bodies, and everyone else sees them in real life, but we see them as Reese Witherspoon and Tobey Maguire.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Quantum leapy.
But then
Okay.
Quantum leaped it.
where is Bud when Toby leaves?
He should come back at some point. We just never see it.
Okay.
It could be.
Sure, I could buy it.
And then he's all confused and upset about it. Everyone's like, "Bud, get with the program."
Bud, you have a
already."
hot girlfriend. Leave it alone. So everyone in this movie, I think it's going to be really hard to start a life in Pleasantville now that you have emotions and sad. Imagine when the first thing somebody dies. I mean, that's going to just...
Oh, that's going to wreck everyone.
That's going to blow.
These were people that were afraid of rain, for God's sakes. How
my
are they going
God.
to handle a death?
I didn't even think about that. They just opened Pandora's box.
How are they going to handle if someone gets hit by that bus that comes through town now?
Right. Tobey Maguire punches that guy in the face, and it's the first time they see blood. Now they have to have a hospital. There's so many logistical
They're not prepared
problems.
for this.
They couldn't even put a fire out. This world is going to be destroyed.
They are doomed.
Here's the thing, though. They need Toby because he's giving them all the clues.
Right.
He's telling them what to do when they have no idea.
It's dangerous,
They
man.
really rely on him. He's the god of their world.
Yeah. And almost
They're the sea monkeys.
I feel like their world is just going to become our world,
Right, and it's
over
gonna be-
time, and then it's just going to be the same
It's gonna
thing.
be terrible.
Except 30 years behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, they won't have any technology advances.
So Tobey Maguire's just going to keep coming back with all this cool stuff. Be like, check out my cool new gadgets, everyone. I'm going to blow your brains. And it's going to be like a Game Boy. But it's they're 30
Yeah.
years behind.
Maybe
So
he'll gradually
he's gonna feel like king of the world.
he'll gradually wean them on to things like that.
Yeah, but I just think that there's going to be a point where in Pleasantville, there's teenagers smoking cigarettes, watching some type of MTV, having promiscuous sex. It's all going to be pretty much the same
Well,
thing.
that was kind of the point of Tobey Maguire's arc, though, was that he's like, my world sucks. I'd rather be in Pleasantville. And he's like, oh, actually, my world has a lot of things that I took for granted that I didn't understand. So that's why he ends up that's why he wants to go back. Is he's like, I understand my world and I don't mind it now. And that's why they changed Pleasantville in the first place.
Maybe some sort of multi-universe theory.
multiverse
Yeah,
going on.
it's a multiverse, and Pleasantville just lives outside in its own.
I get that, Toby understands that there's a lot of things that he took for granted in his world, but then I don't know how that really explains why Reese Witherspoon decided to stay.
I don't know.
She's decided to say solely to go to college.
She could have done that in real life.
She's like, look, I did not have the extracurriculars to get into college.
Listen,
back
you
home.
start with community college, you build up, you go to a university, and then you go to grad school and do whatever the hell she wanted to do.
And she could manipulate so many people inside the Pleasantville universe with the knowledge she has.
Yeah.
I mean, she can get anything she wants to happen.
Yeah.
She could be the king of the world in
She holds all the power. She could be king. She could even demand that she be called king as a woman, and that's power. That's power.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
No true words have been spoken.
so what if I use the remote inside Pleasantville to go to another show that's inside Pleasantville?
Oh, now you're talking Inception, Pleasantville.
Wait, so there's shows inside Pleasantville?
Well, there was a commercial for Hawaii and
Yeah, they had TVs clearly at the end there.
Oh,
Eventually they have things.
Sphinx and
yeah,
everything.
yeah.
I mean, they do have television.
I feel like that was the first time though that you really saw television. Maybe it existed after color existed.
I was trying to think of applications this remote would have aside from this, and I was like, I think that'd be really convenient to, like, could you, if you're like,
I go to a cooking show every night and get dinner for myself.
I was like, oh,
get in and leave.
I really want to go to the ball game today, so just change the channel to the ball game and then go into the TV to the ball game. Teleport into the ballpark.
There's that jerk with the remote again. That's
not a bad
Never
idea.
paying for admission.
So, Brett, you would go into a Food Network channel after someone finished a meal and,
then I
just
just
take
reach
it all?
in, get the food, bring it back.
And then whoever the host is like, okay, let's eat it, and then it's just missing.
You just don't have it anymore.
Just imagine how much money you would save.
Oh,
you
man.
And how much time you would save. You wouldn't even have to worry about
delicious
cooking.
meals too. Those people are top chefs making great food.
Here's the thing: you could do so much more than just live inside Pleasantville. With that remote. You have a world of opportunity available to you.
Hey, you actually use it in like an underwater show, and then you just drown.
You're like, you totally regret it.
Oh, that's pretty good. I would totally use that remote for all sorts of purposes.
Exactly.
Watching 2001: A Space Odyssey and just go in outer space and die.
Yeah.
As soon as you do it, you gotta be real careful.
Start jamming buttons to go back.
Well, I will say, when they went in, they took the place of two people in that show.
Yeah.
What if you click the go in and suddenly, like if
become-
you're watching the ball game and you're one of the players, and you're like, oh fuck, I don't know how to play baseball.
You get beamed right away.
Oh shit.
Man.
Well, I would definitely recommend this movie. It was
Definitely.
it held up.
I liked it a
There's a
lot.
lot of interesting ideas in it. I think I might have watched this movie in school too. And I can see why. I mean, there's a lot of
A lot of themes, a lot of stuff that
going on.
easily you can talk about all the thematic elements in this kind of movie. And yeah, I would definitely recommend this to everybody. I thought this was an
very
excellent
well
movie.
written, really thought out. I mean,
Liked it a lot. I thought excellent movie.
excellent casting.
Yeah.
Visual effects were great.
Did anyone else think it was a little strange when Tobey Maguire came back and was like wiping his mom's face?
Yeah, it was a little weird.
I was like,
felt a little forced.
That felt a little weird to me.
He also had at points like the Spider-Man 3 hair.
Yeah, when he was in the real world.
Yep, when he comes back and he's in his like regular clothes with his hair over, I was like, oh boy, now he's about to go swing away.
I did notice that he can't really act in this movie.
I kind of liked his. He has one very particular way of acting.
Yeah,
and it works. It works in certain movies.
I think it fit very well for a lot of scenes, but like when it required a little bit extra like emotional response from him, it wasn't quite there.
I do think like the court scene, I feel like could have been better.
Yeah, the one scene that I thought of,
It's a little short too. The court scene. I thought that would take more of the movie.
the one scene that I thought of was when Reese Witherspoon decides to stay. They hug, and she actually like seems to emote, and his face just looks kind of blank.
Yeah, he has
he doesn't have a
normal
reaction.
smile he always has.
Yeah,
The director said that he gave Reese Witherspoon the direction not to cry, but just to sit on the thought, and that's what she did in the scene.
That's
So,
directing right there.
Just a good director's note.
yeah, but I felt like Toby just like thought about sitting.
He's like, yeah,
I'm just really tired.
sitting's all right.
When is lunch? Because I need to take a nap. All right, join us on the next episode where we're going to do Mrs. Doubtfire. So that'll be exciting.
Be good.
I look forward to it.
Please rate, like, and subscribe to us on iTunes. Find us on Twitter @WhatWeRemember, Instagram @WhatWeRemember, and WhatWeRemember.com. If you're from the Metro Detroit area and you would like to book us for a live podcast and a movie event, contact us at whatwerememberemail@gmail.com and look at our website, whatweremember.com, for more details.